go flying?
I am.
We discussed it in-house who would fly, and we realized that it had to be me because I was going to get sick, and that was going to be funny as opposed to Jamie's stoic face under 7Gs, which would just look, you know, a little heavier.
And from the very first surprise rapid ascent...
Ready to go flying?
I am.
Ready, hit it.
The G-forces had Adam's stomach churning.
Oh.
I'd like to add a couple of notes about the vomiting and the passing out.
Wow.
One is I didn't actually vomit until the third time we pulled 7Gs in some kind of barrel roll. I managed to make it 2 full times without getting sick.
I'm starting to feel a little nauseous. I think I may throw up.
All right, you got the bags back there?
The other one about the passing out, which really surprised me, was that the pilot knew that I was about to pass out before even I knew.
Going on up to 5Gs. We got 5Gs, 5.5.
And he's looking at me through this tiny little mirror, but he could see this telltale sign of my eyes going cloudy. And then my head, he's like, stay with me, Adam.
Come on, stick with me, Adam. You got it. You got it.
And I was like, and I brought myself back out of the tunnel. And then I went all the way in the tunnel and I totally passed out.
Come on. Stay with us. Stay with us. We got it. Come back. You with me?
I'm with you. I almost passed out there for a second.
But Adam's aerobatics were just the beginning.
Mythbusters, Blue Angels, test site.
The real question was, would the sonic boom shatter glass?
All right, do it.
We are headed straight for the 2,000 feet at Mach 1.07.
Wow, that was something. How loud was it on the ground? Well, we were wearing earplugs and earmuffs, if that tells you anything.
The sound may have been ear-splitting, but despite flying as low as 200 feet, it wasn't the boom that broke the glass, but the distortion of the frame.
Well, there's your problem.
But for Adam, it was all worth it.
You know, when you're a kid, you always want to end up being some kind of secret agent or superhero. And Mythbusters has really allowed me to explore so many aspects of that. I have literally been faster than a speeding bullet. I have not yet leaped a building in a single bound, but that's on our list.
Coming in at number 2 is a story so big, we did it twice.
The myth was that a taxi drove behind a jet airliner as it was taking off, and the blast from the jet picked up the taxi and just threw it.
The first time the Mythbusters tried to test this myth, the insurance company took the wind out of their sails.
Jet taxi was our first intimate experience with insurance. And the thing that I couldn't wrap my head around was how we were going to damage a jet airplane by putting something behind it.
We don't know what the jet will do to the taxi.
That there's no way in hell that taxi is going to do anything but go farther away from the jet.
I didn't get it.
Oh, that would have flipped our taxi!
But 2 years later, the guys got wind of another chance at a jet.
When an opportunity came up again to do it, there's no way we're turning it down.
Yep, in Michigan, Kalita Air and their 747 were more than happy to let the Mythbusters blow off some steam.
I love you, man! I love you!
The taxi was lined up, and the engines roared into action.
And all of a sudden, part of the runway peels up. This whole bed of pavement just flies away, kind of like a roof in a hurricane. And that was it. I was like, that's it. They're going to shut us down. They're not going to let us continue testing. The owner came out, looked at it, laughed, and we kept going.
By this stage, it was clear, come hail or high water, the cab was going into the jet stream.
Coming up to power.
I had no idea what we were about to see. That taxi tumbled down the lawn, just head over heels, over and over. I mean, it was so much force.
Getting the cab to flip was good enough. But I mean, this is the one chance that we get to play with an actual 747. I mean, do you really think we're going to stop there?
You're going to be a bus driver now.
This is a full-size school bus, and the jet wash just picked up the bus like it was nothing, flipped it over, and slammed it down right on its roof and crushed the whole thing. I mean, it was amazing.
Yep, it certainly was the school of hard knocks for our bus, making the jet taxi myth literally a blast.
You know, with footage like this, it's easy to see why this is the biggest and most badass moment.
Well, not quite, Grant. There's one more to come. Next up, the ultimate planes, trains, and automobile moment.
I highly recommend it. Forget therapy.
And now the number one moment. The fantastic finale of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And it's all about our destructive relationship with cars.
We've set them on fire. We've shot them up. We've crashed them. We've dropped them from helicopters. We've blown them up.
The fact is, we've destroyed so many that choosing one as a perfect representation of the ultimate car explosion is impossible. It's like trying to decide which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars. Star Wars, by the way. At any rate, we've each decided to pick our own favorite.
With so much car carnage over the years, our hosts just can't agree on the best. And that means that we've got 5 times the awesome automotive mayhem.
So one of my favorite car destruction sequences was when we split the car with a snowplow in Wisconsin.
Now that is the plow we're looking for.
So picture this wonderful snowy landscape, car at one end, giant razor-sharp snowplow blade at the end of this giant snowplow at the other end.
In 3, 2, 1, go!
Tow the car really fast, go straight down the track, and the thing splits like a banana peel. Your car almost split in 2? That's once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime. Like driving a car stuck together with duct tape after Carrie has had her evil way with it.
All right, time to wreck this car. Personally, my favorite way to destroy a car? By hand. I love destroying cars. Breaking glass, crunching metal. It's awesome. Taking a car apart, completely destroying it, is this really amazing cathartic experience. The shattering of glass, the smoking of the torch, the just metal falling apart before you. Every bit of angst you've ever had gets released. I love it! I highly recommend it. Forget therapy.
Yep, for the Mythbusters, the best therapy is destruction. Something Jamie knows a lot about.
I have to say, I think Dukes of Hazzard was my favorite because that involved running a car at a ramp at high speed, and it had to go through the air something like 175 feet without going splat.
And for that, all they did was build a ramp.
Nothing like a good hump, is what I always say.
And then remote control a car over it at 70 miles per hour. Simple, right?
The thing was that it all had to come together perfectly for it to work, and that was a pretty tall order.
You can totally do it.
A tall order, which Jamie more than matched.
Oh, my Lord.
The car flew 173 feet through the air, but the landing was a little rough.
The car's busted, the myth is busted.
It's very hard on a car if you do that.
Hard on the car for sure. But when it comes to automotive torture, Tori's choice has it all.
The Green Hornet episode, we probably did more damage to cars than we've ever done in the history of Mythbusters. I mean, we took this beautiful classic car.
Now that's a pretty car.
Shot it up with machine guns. That didn't suck. And then stuck it in a steel elevator to see if we could crush it in half. That didn't work, so then we just chopped a car in half. And drove that around. It was brutal.
Brutal indeed. They did everything bar blowing it up. But that's okay, because Adam's favorite has that covered.
Mine is the viewer special explosion. This kid had written to us saying he wanted us to blow up his parents' car, and we agreed to do it.
And in typical Mythbusters style, they granted this wish, not once, but twice.
First time, it's going to be a movie-style explosion, like from the 70s TV shows that you grew up with.
For that movie-style explosion, the guys created some movie-style action.
Jamie and I stood a safe distance away. I think it was about 100 feet. I had a mat in front of me, and Jamie had an explosives plunger.
Fire in the hole! 3, 2, 1!
Jamie's action was to push the plunger, and mine was to be running and to be hopefully in midair at the exact second he pushed that plunger. So that when the actual explosion went off, there I was in midair on that high-speed shot. Man, it is my favorite high-speed shot. It is me reliving my 7-year-old desire to be an action movie hero. And we got the shot.
But the Hollywood stunt action took a dive when it came to the real-world explosion.
Fire in the hole! 3, 2, 1!
Because one thing is for sure, with the Mythbusters around, it doesn't matter how, it's gonna be Carmageddon.
No more car!